Alright, so this is going to be recording over my drives, and first thing I do is, if you go back, I know it's simple, but I can see that I can take the kickoff out of bounds on the right, and I prefer the right hash, so I move the guy over and just take what I can get before getting out of bounds. First down's always going to be flip PA scissors, and I know this is a nickel coverage, it's man, so it's an insta bullet to A, and I remember that later. Then I go Seattle, and on first down, I'm much more conservative with it. I notice it's a zone cover 4 right away, so once I can bait that guy, if I pass lead to the outside, Metcalf will get open. So if you go here, this is a throw that I'm only willing to make if I pass lead outside, so that I can make sure that guy doesn't have enough time to get over to it. Then I've seen nickel and 4-3 so far, both zones, so I go into plunge because it should do well against those, and my line just forgets to block. 2nd and 7, near the goal line, I go fullback dive, and I just trip over my guy. And 3rd and 3 here, I'm going to go flipped halfback dive, just because if you flip it, it goes quicker, and I don't get it. So I come right back with dagger, which is my favorite play in the game. Man coverage, it's an instant scramble to the left. And I did that because if you go to this third down play, I see that he has a 3-4 man blitz, looks like Sambuck, and I know that he's most likely going to have the same thing in for 4th and short. And dagger does very well against man coverage, and sure enough, he had the same exact thing in. And then there's a 2-point. Mesh is my go-to. And that's easy. So now, fasting forward. Okay, here's the next kickoff. And I noticed this one's a bit sketchier. And I probably should have let this one bounce. But it ended up working out well for me. Same thing, PA scissors. And this is important. So if you go back, if you look at this coverage, you see these two cornerbacks in the quarter set will come down, and that's going to mean that they're most likely blitzing. So that's 1 DB blitz, and I use that for later. So now I've got a 2nd and 6, and I've seen a blitz man coverage so far. That's also man coverage, you can tell by the blocking. So now that I see it's a blitz man coverage, DB blitz, I know I can get some free yards with Seattle. And it's a 2nd and 2 here, and I had success with plunge before, so I'm going right back to the well with it. Unfortunately, I run right back on my blocker. Okay, so now this is where, for me, I have 2 different third down bailouts, China Cop and Dagger. And because I've seen man coverage on every single play so far, I'm more confident in Dagger. And what you'll notice right here is this is going to be a quarter or a dime look. And sure enough, I get man coverage. And in this coverage, that middle linebacker over the middle, if he stays in his lane and covers the halfback, then I'll have an easy scramble to the left. But if he doesn't, and he chases after me, I'll have to buy enough time and be able to throw to the running back on the delay fade route. And sure enough, that's what happens. I see it's man coverage right away, and he blitzes over, so I buy enough time for Barry to come out, and I get kind of lucky at the end with the missed tackles. But yeah. Okay. So fast forward to the third one. Those 2 were both even, and I picked up Brick, who's +1 right now. Who I'll be +1 power on. And this kickoff too far in the end zone, I fair catch it. And I like being on a hash a lot, so whenever I fair catch it, I'll always go halfback base to get to a hash. This, I see it's a 4-3 zone coverage, and I'll use that for later. So I've seen PA scissors, always right hash, zone coverage again. And for the most part, they're soft zone coverages. So I read that, and that's why I go Seattle here, because Seattle does very well against 4-3 soft zones. This one I get man coverage, but I buy enough time for the scramble. Next, I go PAX. So this is also important. PAX burst cross, I go here because I've seen 4-3 things so far. And if it's a man coverage, I believe that the crossing route, it's highlighted in red, is able to beat the linebacker. And if it's not man coverage, it's zone coverage, I'll just have a high-low read. Whereas on PA scissors, if it's zone coverage, it's not nearly as effective. Sure enough, I get zone coverage, and I just take the dump off out of the backfield. 2nd and 3 here, I go halfback plunge, because I haven't seen many blitzes yet. And then here, I go to the back at the beginning, I had success with base, so I go back to the well with it, and I get some more good yards. And then I just had success with plunge, but I'm on the right hash, and I want to stay on this hash if I can. So I just go dagger. And that's a bad play by me. If you go back here, that lineman's in a contain, and I should have rolled out to the right instead. So this is just a throwaway. 3rd down here, I'm going SE curl in, just because I know that if he does decide to bring the house, it's an easy touchdown. If he doesn't bring the house, I can still complete the pass. Sure enough, he brings the house, and I get down there, and now I'm just going to fullback dive this in. Same thing, here we go, mesh. Looks like pinch bucko, and there we go. Alright, and since this one against Rick was +1, I go to play SBP here, who I'm going to be -1 against. Alright, this kickoff, same thing, let it bounce. And I'm going to go halfback basic and just set it up. This I noticed is a 3-4, and it's cover 4 drop zone. You can tell because obviously there's a 3-down lineman, 4 linebackers, and everybody but those 3 linemen drops back into coverage. And I'm going to use that later. So I saw drop zone, and I figure he probably has a run-stopping game plan in on 1st down, and he tries to protect against PA spot on mid-downs because that's what everybody's doing, and that's the meta. So I go plunge because it should be dime, which is the PA spot stopper. Sure enough, I'm right. And I convert it. And so here, Pete, this is what I'm talking about with reading defenses. And I saw cover 4 drop zone 1st down, and I want to get it again. So I go switch here just because if I'm right and I get drop zone again, it's a touchdown. If I don't get drop zone, I can either scramble for a couple yards or throw it away. So sure enough, I don't get drop zone. I just scramble here, take my 5 yards, and move on. I had success with plunge, so I go right back to the well with it again. Even more yards. So the inside runs on 2nd and medium are open. I go switch again trying to get it. Nope, don't get the same coverage. Here we go. Now I go to another inside run here because I saw they were open. If you see me, I was considering going dagger when I went to long pass and flipped it. And then I decided not to because I remembered the inside runs were open. There we go, another huge hole on the right side. Then I go PA scissors here. Zone coverage, take the dump off, take the yards. Get a little lucky with Bo's truck there. 2nd and short, I'm going to go with another run, halfback dive. Yeah. And then 1st and goal here, fullback diving it. Bo falls forward for me, but didn't get many yards. Then I'm going to go back to goal line, halfback dive again, and punch it in. But the big thing that I want to take away from this is if you go back to the very beginning, I noticed that runs were open on 2nd and medium, so I was able to comfortably call switch just because I knew that even if I was in a 2nd and medium, I could easily pick it up.